Welcome back to Bowl TV for the second half of the opening round of match play here at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters taking place at Samstown Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Matt Cannizzaro. We had the left side of the 64-player bracket earlier today. Get to see our top overall seed, Parker Bone III, fire a big 778 in a win over Brian Kretzer. Our other match, Johnny Petraglia, the Hall of Famer, advancing against Charles Vachon. Here on the right side of the bracket, we have the 2 and 3 seeds featured. Pete Weber, an impressive plus a 503 showing for his 15 games of qualifying to take the second overall position. He's taking on Kevin Anderson of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Kevin earned the 63 seed by finishing at plus 142. 140, the cut to make the top 64. That match on 19 and 20. On 21 and 22, it's Rick Steelsmith throwing messengers everywhere. He was the number 3 seed this week at plus 484 for qualifying. He'll be taking on Robert Brown of Cody, Wyoming, the 62 seed at plus 143. Be sure to visit bowl.com/Senior Masters for a look at the bracket, as well as live scoring to follow all the other matches going on here on the right side of the bracket. We also have those links to the bracket and to live scoring in the description below the video. So be sure to use those. We are using them as well here to kind of keep track on other matches. These are not best of 3, but they're 3-game matches with total pinfall, determining who will advance to the next round, which will be coming up shortly after this. We'll have one more winners round today, scheduled to start around 1:30 local time here in Las Vegas, 4:30 Eastern. So if you win 2 matches, you're done for the day. Get to relax, prepare for competition Saturday.
Does that mean we get to relax too?
We don't get to relax.
We don't get to wait. We're both winners.
I don't know about that. That's questionable. But no, we get to stay here and showcase the elimination bracket as well today. So we're going to have wire-to-wire coverage of the 2016 event. So for those folks who lost their first match, not out of it with the double elimination format, they'll have the opportunity to make their way through the elimination bracket. Much longer way to go, obviously. A lot have to win a bunch of matches. But you never know. Question in the chat, how many 300 games have we had this week? 2 so far. Jim Murdishaw on the opening day of qualifying. And then yesterday, Steve Brinkman delivering 12 consecutive strikes. Brinkman ended up making match play, won his first match against Bob Learn Jr. in dramatic fashion, firing a 290 in his final game. Is that 10 pinfalls in dramatic fashion for PDW. Weber, the 2013 champion, on a tear on the PBA 50 Tour this season, won 4 consecutive events and nearly made it a 5th last week in Brentwood, California. Was the top seed for the stepladder, ended up falling to Noel Vasquez, who captured his very first PBA 50 national title in the process. Noel, I believe, bowling on this half of the bracket as well, but not only the history of this prestigious event, but some PBA 50 history up for grabs as well for Pete. If he wins, that would be his 5th victory of the season. No player has ever done that. 4 has been the record. It's been held by several players. So Pete, with just one more win over the course of the whole season, would set that record.
All right, so storylines galore here in the top 64. And after today, 16 players will remain undefeated. This is all winners competition right now, so nobody going home after this round. First elimination bracket matches will be at 4 p.m. today, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and at that point, 16 players will head up the escalator and on to the next event. Rick Steelsmith made the stepladder last year in Green Bay. So did Pete Weber. Pete Weber as the top seed came up short against Amleto Monticelli. Amleto defeated Weber twice. Pete did win this tournament in 2013 for the only Masters title of his career. Hasn't won the big one yet. Steelsmith did. Back when Aaron was running around in diapers. 1987.
That depends, Matt.
See what you did there, Mr. Smith?
Rick Steelsmith captured that as an amateur against the best players in the world.
Great shot there by Robert Brown. 4 for 4 now. Gonna need a re-rack on 21. If he does not, I would say check your glasses, Mr. Brown. It's like the 8-pin is way off spot. Robert Brown had 300 last year at the Senior Masters.
And I think he just caught a glimpse. Yep, got a definitely not a 3-game match like can happen, and don't want to necessarily lose a hit over a poorly spotted pin. So he will refresh after 2 spares. Pete Weber 3 in a row. Kevin Anderson with some trouble in the 4th. He's looking to bounce back here, 5th frame.
All right, so re-rack done. Chances of a stone 8 on this shot now.
Oh, it increased tremendously.
Robert Brown, 4 for 4. Early lead against Steelsmith, the Hall of Famer. PDW. Same spot on the scoreboard as Parker Bone was the first half of the bracket. Brown leaves the 2-pin on the light hit. PB3. Hold on, lead 19 and 20. First round, crushed him, 778. Pete Weber following suit so far. Spare 3-bagger.
Get you a quick rundown of the matches, or let's say who's still in the winner's bracket after the left side of the bracket wrapped up. That is updated on bowl.com. So I mentioned Parker 778 to 700 over Brian Kretzer. Parker will face Eric Forkel in the next round, so pair of lefties in that match. Forkel defeated Marv Sargent 622 to 544. Andy Neuauer outlasted Darren Peters 616 to 609. David Sirigliano defeats Skip Wolf 630 to 600 even. Michael Lucente knocking off Mike Edwards, past champion, 612 to 607. Steve Brinkman, talked about him a little bit earlier, 734 to 699 over Bob Learn Jr. Stoney Baker cruises 638 to 548 over Craig Miller. Our defending champion, Amleto Moncelli, had a double in the 10th to avoid getting knocked to the elimination bracket against Scott Greiner, 651 to 641. John Donovan defeated Klaus Lischka, 688 to 640. Dave Arnold with the win over Warren Nelson, 614 to 511. Brian LeClaire rolling, 741 to 587 over Roger Cossert. In a battle of legendary names in the sport, Brian Voss, 712 over Walter Ray Williams Jr., 644. Jack Jurek, 739 to 649 over Sam Ventura. Brian Goebel, big 781. So he had the big set out there. Out of all of our competitors, in a victory over Mark Hankin at 569. Norm Duke over Harry Sullen, 703 to 668. And Johnny Petraglia over Chuck Fashaw, 643 to 592. Anderson runs high on the left lane in the 8th. Might find himself down quite a bit here after 1. He can max out at 212. With the conversion, PDW. So get into the 270s with a few more.
I would have to say, Mr. Smith, coming into any match against some of our top players, Pete Weber, Parker Bone, you're going to have to expect to, again, as we talked to Brian Kretzer earlier, probably throw your 3 best games of the tournament. Of course, Pete Weber, the number 2 seed, and Mr. Anderson, number 63. So about a 400 or 500 pin difference in qualifying. Of course, all of that goes away, but all that means at this point is that Pete Weber was awfully comfortable in this building this week. And looking pretty good here in this opening game. Can't get the 9 to go. He's got a 43 pin advantage after 6 frames. Nice break there for Steelsmith, getting the 4 to go late for the double. He's trying to mount an early comeback here in game 1 against Robert Brown. Brown among the players sweating out the cut number yesterday. He was right here by the live stream booth. And when I told him the unofficial number, he did not believe me. Wanted to wait and hear the announcement, and he snuck in at number 62 at plus 143, average 209.53 this week. And his low block coming yesterday, 991, but got enough to hold on. The cut ended up being plus 140, so plenty of room there for Mr. Brown.
I must say, I admire him for not listening to you. That's I try to do that as much as possible. However, of course, unofficial numbers, the rumor mill spreading around, of course. Never be too sure until they put it in writing. Robert off to a strong start here. Taking care of business in the 8th. Still getting into the 260s. Looking to set up the foundation frame. Once again, with the caliber of players in this field throughout the week, really no easy matches. So, as you mentioned, even though it might be a few hundred pins, the difference in qualifying to make the cut, you're still averaging essentially 210 on this pattern over the course of 15 games. Of course, that's with a few more folks on a pair. You're moving around the house now that you get to kind of settle in on a set of lanes. Might be able to find an extra hit or two, and all of a sudden, got a match. Speaking of quite a match and people settling in on 33 and 34, Ron Boroff kicks things off with 267. However, he's going to be down in the match. Joseph Petrovich in the 270s. Speaking of big numbers, Junichi Yajima, he's going to build a pretty big lead against Jerry Brunetti Jr. Yajima, our 2016 ITRC Super Senior Classic champion, could shoot 278 with 3 strikes in the 10th. For Brunetti, some struggles, 4 splits. Max out at 168. Again, you can follow the live scoring application. That's what we're doing right now, so nothing overly fancy or extra here on site. So you can find that in the description below the video or by visiting bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the 2016 results tab. That'll get you there. 2 strikes in the 10th for Kevin Anderson. 1 more will get him to 187.
So Steel Smith minus those 2 pins in the 10th, 230. Robert Brown still can get to 268. Will lead after game 1 here.
So Weber at 197 in the 8th, so he's going to be pretty comfortable after 1. Push it to 247 for his final game total here in the opener. That'd be a 62 pin lead. Didn't like that one. Result shows. Robert Brown getting the hit. He's going to be in the 260s. And the 30 plus in the standings after one. Once again, a big thanks everyone for joining us today here on Bowl TV. This is the second half of the opening round of match play at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters at Samstown in Las Vegas. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Matt Cannizzaro. We had the left side of the bracket earlier today. This is the right side. .235 for Pete Weber. He's got a 50-pin lead after one against Kevin Anderson.
Last year, Aaron, we saw our top 2 seeds from qualifying meet in the championship match. They're on opposite corners of the bracket here. Parker Bone, the third, leading this year with a record score through 15 games. Averaged more than 247. Pete Weber, a couple hundred pins back, 209 to be exact, to earn the number 2 seed. Parker looking to join that club of currently 2 bowlers to win both Masters events, the regular and the senior. As things unfold over the next 2 days, I'll tell you more about the storylines and the personalities behind these 64 players. Pretty good mix of talent from PBA to USBC Hall of Famers, international success, Open Championship success.
First miscue we've seen from Robert Brown leaves the 2-4-10 in the second frame. Pete gets that one way right. Doesn't make it back to the head pin, leaves the washout. Nice cover though from Robert. Rick Steelsmith showing the appreciation of a nice spare conversion. Looking to make up some pins here. Down 36 after the opening game. All competitors have gotten the opportunity to see this 40-foot condition courtesy of Kegel throughout the week, along with 10 minutes of practice before we started. These rounds both fresh. Our round coming up next, with an approximate start time of 1:30 p.m. local here in Las Vegas, 4:30 Eastern. We'll be on the burn, so players will get a little bit of time to practice, but it'll be the first look at a little extra transition. Pete catches the hit. Got that one right as well, but enough to get him all the tumble. Nobody relenting in the Ron Boroff Joseph Petrovic match. Petrovic started with the front six before 9 spare in the 7th. Boroff has them all through 7. That match had Petrovic in the lead after 1. 279 to 267.
Boroff had a huge day yesterday. Started with 4 sizable games. Closed with 179 to get to 1193 for the day. Qualified 11th at plus 351. And you can tell a ton of confidence coming into today and getting tested here early, but stringing him. Boroff, a top left-hander from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Couple more shots. I might be taking a walk down to 33 and 34. Petrovic 9 dash in the 8th. Boroff with the front 8.
Steelsmith 3 for 3 on 21 here in game 2. Has gone high though, both shots on right lane. It's down 36 heading into this match. has been good to Robert Brown so far. Splits the 8-9. Can he get it going on the left lane? Record a double. Eddie Graham fired at 276 in his opening match against Billy Langford, and now has 7 out of the first 8. Rolling over on 9 and 10. Langford looking a little bit better here in game 2, but had some struggles in the opener. Just 177. Weber ahead in game 2, up 50 after the opening match against Kevin Anderson. Steele Smith clean through 7, but needs to find a double here somewhere. Start making up some pins. Brown looking for 3 in a row. Stepping up on 22. This has been his good line. Connected for his first strike on the left lane in the 6th. Looked like trouble for a brief second, but had all of them cooperate. Four in a row, Robert Brown. Let's see if Rick Steelsmith can get it going. Needs a few hits here. Runs high once again on 22. Rick Steelsmith taking a second, chatting with Jim Callahan, talking about what he's seen out here on 21 and 22. And maybe just a quick break for just a reset. Down 36 after one, it's looking like he's going to give Robert Brown an even bigger cushion heading into the finale. Needs to use these last few shots to really find the right look to get all 10 to fall over. That was pretty good right there. Still max out at 216. Robert Brown can throw 4 here, get to 260. No doubt about that one. Robert Brown, 5 in a row. Ron Boroff was up 534 to 519 in his match against Joseph Petrovich heading into the finale. A lot of strikes over there. Chris Warren's going to have a big advantage over Dale Traber heading into Game 3. Trouble in the 10th for Robert Brown. Thinking 260s, all of a sudden dropping to the 220s. Unless he can find a way to kick some pins out and take care of the 6. Takes the 2. I'll put him at 225. He's at 491 for his 2-game total. Steelsmith can minimize the damage here, but 22 has not been kind to him so far. Yet to strike here in Game 2 on this lane. Three, 4, 6, 7, 10. So what the conversion best Rick can get to is 196. That will put him down more than 60 heading into the final match. Gets 4, doesn't get the 7. 184, 414. So Robert Brown, 77 pin advantage. Once again, proving that with this format, just got to make it to the top 64. Robert Brown, 62nd seed overall. A great position to advance to the second round of the winner's bracket coming up next year on Bowl TV. That'll be in about an hour and 15 minutes. Weber in the books with 237. He's at 472 for his 2-game total. He's going to be up by more than 100. So it looks like Pete is going to be in good position to punch his ticket to the next round. So Weber ahead by 117. Rick Steelsmith gets that strike on 22 finally, but he's going to need a lot of them in both 21 and 22. To avoid the elimination bracket here in the early going.
All right, looks like Mr. Cleveland down on 7 and 8. Just had the front 11. We did not get the notification down this way, but from here it looked like a 9 count on the final shot for 299 after a 177 start. So 299 looked like a 7-pin, but now an advantage after 2 games. All right, so we will pay closer attention to the live scoring. Here in our 2 featured matches again, Pete Weber and Mr. Anderson on 19 and 20. Weber had 235 and 237 for 472. Kevin Anderson 185 and 170 for 355. Weber 117 pin advantage, double here to start. He's on his way to the next round of the winners bracket. Our other match, Rick Steelsmith and Robert Brown. Brown leading by 77 pins after 2 games. Open frame here early in game 3. The light hit in the 3rd frame. Lucky to leave just the 2 and the 8. Really, it's just hang on at this point. Other matches going on this round. Remember, this is the right side of the winners bracket. If you'd like to check that out, you can visit bowl.com/Senior Masters. You can see all the results from so far in the week, as well as the bracket updated each round. The left side already done this morning. Now the right side up. Only 56 lanes here at Samstown, so half and half. Then we'll have all the winners coming up next at 1:30 local time, 4:30 on the East Coast. But other matches this round: Paul Renteria and Mr. Cleveland down on the low end. It's Ronald Cleveland. Ronald had 299 in game 2. So he leads by a bunch. He had a 177 start. Looks like Renteria at 362 after 2. And we have Billy Langford and Eddie Graham. Eddie Graham leading in that match after 2. Donald Harrington and Paul McCordick. McCordick with a sizable lead. Sam Lanto and Terry Rohr. Terry Rohr out in front, halfway through game number 3 now. Ron Moore and Mark Williams. Close match on 25 and 26. Lenny Borsch, Patrick Shipley, also close on 27 and 8. Mike Scroggins and Mike Karch. And Scroggins running away a little bit here in game number 3. Ronald Boroff and Petrovic on 33 and 4. Bit of a seesaw there. Looking forward to seeing the outcome of that one. Very high scoring to start. Not so much here in the 3rd game. Chris Warren and Dale Traber doing work on 37 and 8. Chris Warren leading there. Kevin Croucher and Tommy Martin. 334, 301. Martin over Croucher after 2. Noel Vasquez and Alvin Liu. Alvin Liu rolling. Down at 45 and 6. Sam Macaron and Peter Knopp. Macaron with the front 5 in the final game. An advantage after 2. Brackets will be updated after each round. You can go see who won first half of the winners bracket. I guess they're all winners at this point. Appreciate everybody tuning in to this live coverage of the 2016 USBC Senior Masters and all the comments and questions in the chat room. We appreciate the interactive opportunity here as we roll through our double elimination match play bracket.
Steele Smith, big 4, up on the left lane in the 4th. It's running out of time and frames here. Against Robert Brown. Down at 77. Heading into this match, and Robert Brown just needs to keep filling frames here. He'll be all right. Pete Weber up 117 against Kevin Anderson. A few frames away from officially punching his ticket to the next round. Coming up next here on Bowl TV. Also have some elimination rounds today. Looks like they're in the 10th frame. Alvin Liu versus Noel Vasquez. Liu going to advance, already in the books at 692. Sam Macarone. In great position to advance, and now with the front 7 over on 45 and 46. Against Peter Knopp. Make it 8. Junichi Yajima is going to advance against Jerry Brunetti Jr. Down on 51 and 52. Eddie Graham going to record a victory over Billy Langford. Paul McCordick in good shape against Donald Harrington. Terry Rohr going to advance against Sam Lanto. I believe Terry will go on to face the winner of this Pete Weber Kevin Anderson match.
See, Terry Rohr probably not too excited about taking on the red hot Pete Weber this season, but at the same time, Terry Rohr is going to be alive in the winner's bracket at his first senior event. So you got to feel pretty good about that either way. But yeah, 3 or 4 pins in qualifying over 15 games, and the stage could be completely different. But we'll see. Maybe he can go the route of Mr. Vasquez and dethrone the red hot Weber. All you can do is put yourself in position to have that opportunity.
Certainly never know what's going to happen with the pair they're going to. Pete unfazed by all the excitement on 21 and 22. this match was a little bit closer, I don't think he would have continued there, but he's essentially got it all wrapped up.
Pete not shy about sharing his feelings. I think he yelled at the stepladder last year, going in, just reminding the photographer nicely not to click his camera during Pete's approach. So, but you're right, this match is well in hand. Able to laugh that one off this time. Pete thinking ahead now to his 1:30 match coming up against Cherry Roar.
All right, looks like we're ready to get going once again on 21 and 22. Rick Steelsmith running out of frames here. Can max out at 225. So Robert Brown just needs a mark and some count here for enough to shut out. At this point, needs to just get into the 160s would be enough if Rick was able to strike out. As we wrap up these matches, good time to thank our gold industry partners, Columbia 300, Hammer, Kegel, and Storm, for their continued support, helping build a future for the sport. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider, has helped provide us with this 40-foot pattern being used this week. .190 finish for Kevin Anderson, 545. So he'll get a break after this and will attempt his run from the elimination bracket. Big 779 for Eddie Graham in his win over Billy Langford. Get to see one more shot from PDW. Get to 729 with a strike. Paul McCordick with the win over Don Harrington. 729, 545 here on our featured pair. Pete Weber recording the win. Just waiting for final tally here on 21 and 22. Robert Brown, 62 seed, delivering the upset here in the early going against Rick Steelsmith.
And so far, top 2 seeds averaging more than 251 in match play. Parker Bone, 778 on 19 and 20. Pete Weber, 729. One lefty, one righty, 2 superstars. So those two are going to be tough to beat.
Joseph Goldstein Sr. scoring the win over Philip Menke of Germany. Ryan Cleveland's going to get the W over Paul Renteria.
So next round, Parker Bone and Eric Forkel.
Will he be a force to be reckoned with, Matt?
They're going to meet up on 25 and 26. It's on the burn, but that pair right now featuring right-handers Ron Moore and Mark Williams. So the left side will be untouched by the time Forkel and Bone get there. But as we saw in our Petraglia-Vachon match earlier, having 2 lefties made things a little bit weird after a while. So should be an interesting match against the 2 lefties over there on 25 and 6 coming up next round.
Ron Moore held a 30-pin advantage heading into the 9th against Mark Williams. Williams 9 spare in the 9th frame, so he'll need some help from Ron Moore along with a big finish to avoid the elimination bracket here early.
On our right-hand featured pair coming up next round, we'll have Andy Nyer and Dave Sirigliano. So 2 familiar names there. Looking forward to that match. And still waiting to see who will get on 19 and 20. Looks like we'll see our Super Senior Classic champion, Junichi Ijima, and either Mike Scroggins or Mike Karch.
Patrick Shipley going to record the win over Lenny Borsch. Final score here, 665 to 606. Robert Brown over Rick Steelsmith. So that will conclude everything in front of us here. Just about all matches concluded according to the live scoring. So be sure to check the bracket. Once again, it can be found at bowl.com/Senior Masters under the 2016 results tab. And that's going to do it for this round. We'll be back in about an hour for the second round of match play on the winners bracket here at the 2016 USBC Senior Masters, taking place at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. So on behalf of Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll see you in an hour here on Bowl TV.